Hello, and welcome back to this week's episode of the Otafest podcast. It is season 7, episode 34, and I, Nancy, am joined with Jay and Angelo.
Hello.
Ah! It's May.
Jay.
Jay?
It's gonna be Jay.
Why is it May?
It's the first
How
of
is
May.
it May? What happened to
First
April?
Of May.
I can't believe time has done this. Father Time!
I blame Father Time for this.
But before we get into that, have you got your May Cafe tickets yet? Because you should grab yours today at otafest.com/cafe-reservation. Online sales will close on May 6th, so past this date, you will have to try your luck getting tickets on the day of at our info booth. And the Maid Cafe always sells out, guaranteed.
I have 3 words for you. Corgi, butt, buns. Make sure to pick yours up today at the Otafest Konbini, along with all the melon pan and sweet Japanese drinks. They'll be in the South Building, bottom floor, just outside of the main events room.
And speaking of the main events room, are you in for a treat? Members of Calgary's drag community will be kicking off Otafest Amplified on May 21st. You won't want to miss this one. Purchase your tickets today and make sure you follow Vanta Black, De Very Best, Valerie Hunt, and Tangerine Dream on Instagram. And a reminder that you can still pre-purchase your Otafest weekend passes at the early bird price of $55. Visit otafest.com and get yours now. Something that someone brought up on the Facebook page that I answered for them, just sort of linking these two things. Otafest Amplified is not separate from Otafest. All you have to do is buy a regular ticket for the Saturday, because the shows are on Saturday, or the weekend pass, and the Otafest Amplified shows are included. So that's the drag shows, that's the concerts, the dance. So make sure you're there.
Let's go.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. I can understand why people might be a little confused, because they're like, oh, it's a concert, or it's like, is this a separate show? But no, we're very inclusive on everything that we can make inclusive. So make sure.
Basically, if you want to go to the concert, you might as well go to the rest of Otafest too.
Weird, right?
Indeed. Right?
But yeah, I can't believe it's May.
You know what's terrifying? 15 more sleeps until Otafest.
When this episode
Yeah.
releases,
15.
it's going to be 15 sleeps.
That's insane. I am not I'm not mentally ready, and I just came back from Comic Expo.
It feels like it's supposed to be a lot longer from now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it does. Well, it probably doesn't, to the staff who are a little bit more involved in churning out stuff for the day of, Jay. But it definitely feels that way to me.
Yeah, I have no plans or expectations personally at this point. So I'm basically just going to go there on the day and be like, what's going on today? And just figure it out, wing it.
That's fine.
I do have a couple of panels that I should prep for, and I will be prepped for, but it just feels like that's so much further away
Oh, good
from
Lord.
where we are right now.
All right, back when I did run panels, I had everything set up at least a month and a half beforehand. And at this point, I would be
Dude.
prepping myself, being like, oh, what do I want to say? How do I want to say it?
So
How am I going to lay this out?
I want to share a little story, just a little insight during Calgary Expo, our generous chair Chan, Jenny, was there at Expo a lot, and we were working together, and we talk about Otafest, of course, coming up soon. And we were just acknowledging that we're rusty. We were saying that a couple years ago, we would be ready by now. And by ready, I mean in the middle of April, we'd be like, why isn't Otafest here yet? Because we'd have all of our ducks in a row. We've had, all the contracts are signed, everything is ready to go, and we are just waiting. Kind of weird to think that way, but now we're just shaking off the rust and being like, I can't believe it's May. But we do have everything like ready, but we're just like, it's the small things that we want to make sure we get right. And those things not necessarily just take time, but they take extra attention after all of the big bits are done. So like it's one thing to, for example, on my end, sign a guest. That's fine. You know, we'll do the contract, you know, all the sort of technical bits. But after that, it's remembering like, hey, was there any equipment you needed? How are we doing your hotel? Do you have dietary restrictions that we should be aware of? You know, like we want to take care of people and we have to make sure that we kind of hit all those notes. That makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. But like I said, we're all looking forward to it. It just didn't need to come up this fast. Before we jump into some other stuff, I want to do a little bit of a recap. That's something we're going to be doing every episode from here on till Otafest. Because there's been a lot of news. We do a lot of announcements, lots of news. Guests, events, everything. And I figured since we're announcing Otafest Amplified here, and we will be announcing one more guest, but it'll be okay to add this on for now, which is actually, we've already announced all the guests for Amplified, I'm pretty sure. So we're just going to recap. We are obviously doing the drag show, which is super fun.
Woo!
I'm super looking forward to it. I hope I have time to make it. I know it sounds weird because like we do booking. I'm doing the booking for a lot of these guests, so you should be there. But I can't guarantee where I'm going to be at during Otafest. As weird as that sounds.
Me neither.
But I want to see the drag show.
Well, I really want to go see Alex Cade and Neat, of course.
They'll be doing the concerts and the dance, respectively. It'll be very busy, very fun, sweaty.
Of
Dark
course.
and sweaty.
Yeah.
But good fun
With
and
lots
dancing.
of lights and lots of music. Yeah.
Again, we've talked about them before, but you really should check out their music beforehand. They do some really cool mashups of anime and Japanese inspired songs, and they make some really cool tracks. And I'm pretty sure both are on Spotify. I know Neat is at least. So double check them. And of course, we have outdoor performances as well that are outside of Otafest Amplified. So they'll actually take place on Saturday and Sunday, which is Yamano Oto Taiko and the Yosakoi Seren Dance Troupe. They will be they'll be doing a set that's like separate but together. The dance troupe will be doing their thing first, and then we'll have the Taiko show immediately after, and that'll be really fun. I always look forward to having, especially like the Taiko shows. Even when I wasn't booking them, it's one of like my favorite events that we always have had through the years at Otafest. We've had them since like university. Not exactly this Taiko troupe, but several different ones, because there are, I think, 3 different ones in Calgary, and we've rotated through them, not for any weird reason, just how it works out sometimes. But yeah, they all are very talented and do an amazing job. And I always describe the sound as it feels like we're calling the gods when you hear Taiko.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good drumming is like
100%.
that.
Yeah. It is. I don't know. Just if you've never seen it, you've been missing out. And that's going to be on the Marriott patio. So it'll be outdoors and kind of elevated up there. But I think it'll be really fun. And we have some cool things happening on the patio too that I don't want to give away yet.
Surprises.
So-
They're
Ooh.
coming.
Yeah. We love
We
surprises.
love surprises.
So, yeah. Lots of
Is that
lots of cool stuff.
the same patio where usually just inside they have that little beer kiosk usually, I think? And
Yes.
oftentimes there was like a food cart on the patio as well.
Yes. I don't know exactly what's happening there. I think there's going to be a ramen cart indoors.
Oh my god.
So you can get ramen in there.
Oh my god.
I don't even know if that's going to be an announcement necessarily as so much as it's a feature. So not really spoilers. We've had the ramen cart before. It's been popular.
Love it.
I believe the manga library is in the same area as well.
Ooh.
So very chill space. Obviously less chill when we're putting on performance, in the sense that when you're trying to peacefully read manga, there might be drums in the background. But I'm sure you can tolerate it for 15 minutes.
Yes, I think they can. I think our listeners are powerful enough to do that.
Yeah. But yeah, we're doing a lot of things in the Marriott area in general. So make sure you check all of that out. I'm super looking forward to what everyone's bringing, even though I don't know what everyone's bringing because they're not my department. And if I were interested in doing everyone's job, I'd be the chair.
Is that a premonition popping out of your mouth there, Jay?
Not even close. I told you I didn't want to.
Like other great
Listen
leaders,
to me.
It's-
I said not wanting to.
like many other great leaders, they did not ask for leadership, but took it up because they were needed.
No one wants to follow me.
It's not that Jay would be incapable. It's not at all that Jay would be incapable. It's that I think Jay would be incapable of wanting to.
Yes.
That's an interesting distinction.
Yes. Jay could do it. He just could not possibly want to do it.
I think mentally I would not be at my best. That's honest. That's the honest truth. Like, I have no real desire to be in that position. I very well respect the people who have been in that position, and I just can't do it. I can't balance it and have a good time.
I feel like that's just the nature of leadership roles in general. Honestly, like this isn't something just about like anime conventions, but like also your job or sometimes even gaming as well. I feel like there's a difference between the people who like make the decisions and the people who want to do the thing.
Right.
Some people prefer to be really hands-on. They prefer to be like talking to, in Jay's case, the guests, getting the contract signed, taking care of the details, versus the people who are like, yeah, go talk to this person and get a contract signed. Honestly, I kind of vibe with what Jay's talking about as well, because like it's more fun, I think personally, it's more fun to do something than to organize something.
Totally.
And I would also say that, I've sort of extrapolated on this point before in a similar vein where I am not a con goer, I'm a con doer. Like, I make things happen at this con, for example, and that's where I see myself. I don't see myself wandering vendors' halls or attending panels at other cons, not because they don't have great content, but literally just because I don't enjoy that very much. It's not, it's like, it's almost a time waste for me. Like, I'm just there to kill time if I was in that scenario, more than I am to enjoy myself.
When was the last time you've gone to a non-Otafest convention?
I mean, I was at Calgary Expo, but I was working Calgary Expo, so that
okay.
counts.
You know what I mean.
Yeah, like I attended an Otafest panel at Calgary Expo, but that's because I was originally slated to be part of the panel, and I was like, at the last minute, I didn't back out. We just found replacements, and I was like, yes. I actually don't remember. I'll be honest. I don't really remember the last time I worked or I wasn't working at a con, and that's okay. That is what works for me.
That's fine. I was supposed to go to SakuraCon 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Maha.
Other than that, it would probably be one of the animathons.
Animathon, yeah.
Oh no, I do kind of remember. I think I went to. So there was Nishikaze in Lethbridge, which is quite a small con. It's a very much
remember
community
that
con.
one.
And they
I went there once and it
actually
was
had
really
a
cute.
hiatus. I had gone to it prior as well. I don't think I worked the booth there because I believe it's also a 1 day, not a 2 day even. So it was very much a day trip type of thing. So I think I've gone to Nishikaze twice, once before the hiatus, and I think the first year after. And that's it. I don't recall if we even had a booth, to be totally honest. Otherwise, it would have been maybe a taste of Animathon, like a long time ago, probably 7 or 8 years ago, when they were at like, I think I want to say the Radisson Hotel or something like that in Edmonton. I really don't remember where they actually were, but that's pretty much it. I don't really, and even if I went there, I don't think I stayed very long, like maybe a few hours, and then went out for food, and then probably hung out somewhere else, and then went home.
I actually really like. It's funny that you mentioned specifically Taste of Animathon and Nishikaze. I love those small little 1 day cons.
Yes.
They're so easy to plan around. You know what I mean? Like as
Yeah,
someone
you're not
going
like
there.
bombarded with
Everything and everyone.
Yeah,
all
I know
at once.
that sounds like I'm almost talking down like what we do, for example. But like
Well, I
there
mean-
is a different feel. Like I love, even though I say I don't like going to cons, I like small cons more than I like big cons because there is something inherently interesting about it to me.
Yeah. Honestly, yes. Like when me and Dio were going to go to SakuraCon, we had to worry about flights to get there. We had to worry about the hotel. We had to worry about money conversion going to the US. We had to worry about, okay, we're going to be there for 3 days, but do we want an extra day to visit Seattle since we're going to be there?
Right.
Do we want the extra day to just decompress at home? So it's like a larger convention like that. It's a really big time
It's
investment,
intimidating.
even as someone just
it's
going there.
intimidating in a sense.
Whereas for something like Taste of Animathon, the biggest question is, well, who drives there? Who drives back? Or how long are we going to spend at Donut Mill on the way there? Like that's the biggest question.
Yeah.
That's the biggest question. It's a drive. That's it. You have 1 day off, you go and you drive there. Or even in the past when we had Otafest Light for those couple of years, or Otafest Aurora, where it was just you as someone going there, you didn't have to have a big plan.
No.
You just
Yeah.
show up.
And I
it's
will
great.
always say that I miss Aurora just as our attendees do, for my own personal reasons, which are from the con runner side. I always just got to do things. I've said this many times that I got to do things that I can't do at a regular Otafest because some of it's like a testing phase. Some of it is just because of the less commitment, I can involve more people from Otafest. And, at Otafest proper, staff don't run as many panels as we used to. The community runs a bunch of panels anyways, so it's not like we're lacking for content. But I'll be totally honest that the staff get to do some things that, because we're the organizing body, we sort of get away with a few more things. Not in a bad way, you know what I mean. But like, I generate a lot of ideas, and I like to see things being done, and create content for people. Make sure you come to the Otafest podcast live recording.
Yeah, let's do it.
But like,
if you don't be there, I will cry.
but I
Don't
do
make
miss
Angela
some of the
cry.
things that I got to do at Aurora specifically, and I want to give a lot of props to Animathon for continuing Taste of, because it's a lot of work to do a con every 6 months when you're a volunteer-based con and you're not, at it 100% of the time.
Yeah.
So I miss a lot of things like that.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I do like small cons. The worst part about small cons, though, nothing to do with the actual con experience, is that small cons are actually harder to run in some ways because you have to keep them afloat. A lot of times the organizers put in a lot of personal money into making those cons work. And
I feel like there's
they go in the red.
a lot of overhead that scales.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't scale with time so much, it scales with the event.
Right.
So there's like, if you have 50% of the overhead, that doesn't change whether you're doing 1, 2, or 3 days.
Sort of, yeah. Like, to give people, I know last week we talked, it was very con heavy episode, very sort of insight heavy episode. And this is going to be a little bit too, I guess, because we're already halfway through. But one thing that people don't really consider when you come to run a con, right, is that, you know, a venue isn't looking to give you a discount, for example, right? So let's say you run for one day and that venue, whatever it is, however big or small you are, but let's say, you know, maybe this is more of a hotel con or maybe a community hall type of con. You know, maybe they're charging you, let's say $5,000. Maybe it's 10 grand. It's somewhere in that, you know, and without giving away too much, Otafest pays a lot more than that. And, you know, we try to make sure that the numbers make sense. But like for us, we charge for a weekend pass, the full price is $60. And we are hoping that a certain amount of people show up because that's what it's going to take to cover the con. You know, we want to break even. We want to keep running for you guys year after year as much as we can. With that being said, imagine if you're a smaller con and you're trying to cover those same types of numbers, but you can only expect, let's say, you know, 3-digit attendance, or unfortunately worse sometimes. Some cons don't even see 100 people especially when they're first starting out, but you still have to cover $5,000 plus wherever else, you know, cost might come up. Things like t-shirts, lanyards, passes, you know, lots of that overhead. So I love small cons, but I see fewer and fewer of them because it's hard work and they don't get to cover costs on the same scale that we do, even though our scale is bigger. So
yeah,
it's very sad.
There's the economy of scale going on there.
Exactly. It's all basic economics, but as a result, because all of these are like passion-driven type events, you know, but people just can't be going in the red for fun. No one should be doing that. It's like gambling, but worse because you just know you're losing. So.
And speaking of basic economics, please listen to these words from this week's sponsor, Crunchyroll.
If you're into anime, you've got a home at Crunchyroll. Stream over 1,000 shows and movies, plus new episodes 1 hour after they air in Japan. Looking to take your fan status to the next level? Then browse hundreds of chapters in our growing manga library. And don't forget about Crunchyroll originals like The God of High School, Shenmue the Animation, and my favorite, So I'm a Spider, So What? Which, to be clear, is the show's name, because I'm definitely a human. So head on over to Crunchyroll and sign up today. Good segue.
Thanks, Crunchyroll.
I like that.
That was a good one.
Maybe there's an economics anime.
Yes, actually, Spice and Wolf is probably the big one.
Okay.
Huh.
Anyways, that's
Speaking
the
of
spiel.
economics
Yes.
anime, there's Spice and Wolf, the story of the wheat god Holo, who travels with a merchant named Lawrence. There's also the more recent anime, whose title I forget, but is something about how the isekai prince raised a country out of poverty through economics or something. I don't. That was the plot synopsis.
But you can find Spice and Wolf on Crunchyroll. I just checked.
I think you can.
No,
You
I
can?
checked.
Good. Wonderful.
Because if it wasn't, I would probably have to get that cut out.
Yes. Yes.
Anyways. So yeah. I'm looking forward to what we're doing after this podcast. Something that we don't talk about a lot.
We don't really talk about what we do after the podcast very much. This time is going to be a wonderful exception. Last week after the podcast, Nancy, Jay, and I we went out for some glorious, wonderful, juicy, succulent, seared,
Sumptuous.
Korean barbecue.
All you can eat Korean barbecue.
We had the adult pork, the adult
We
bacon,
did.
that glorious pork belly.
Gosh.
I had dessert bacon.
You had dessert bacon. We kind of helped you finish said dessert bacon.
Yes, it's for everybody.
It's for everyone.
So,
I want more beef this time.
All one can consume.
All one cares to consume.
Dio was not in the country last weekend, and so this time after the recording, she demanded that we go again. Effectively, she was like, "You guys went to KBBQ without me? How dare! How dare!" And so we're doing a rerun of last week's barbecue run, and KBBQ is just such a wonderful experience. It's something about having that grill right in the middle of the table, this spread of meats right in front of you, all you can eat, every single one, all you can eat. Oh my god. It smells amazing. It looks amazing. It tastes amazing. Something about, correct me if I'm wrong, something about going to a restaurant where you have to cook your own food on a conceptual level seems wrong. It's like, I'm paying for the food. Why aren't you cooking it? Why are you making me do that? But being able to do it, getting to do it, it just feels
and
so
trying
good.
not to splatter other people in the eye with grease while you're doing it. Top notch.
I didn't do that last week, did I?
I
I
might
hope
have,
not.
but I'm just trying to
no.
get more meat into you, Nancy.
You got me on like the cheek, so at least you didn't quite get me in the eye, but like it was close. I was just like, ooh, that could have been bad.
Oh no. Oh
That could
no.
have been bad.
Do we have to get safety goggles?
Safety goggles. We should
I
probably get safety gloves too.
I do have a friend who doesn't like to cook, not because... So I don't know if she has developed any new skills in cooking, but she doesn't like cooking because she's afraid of oil splatter. And I'm talking
Really?
like at home. And I'm like, I kind of get that, but I also like cook bacon shirtless.
Oh,
Like splatter
you're a brave
happens.
man.
I'm like, bring it to me, give it to me.
Honestly, I do not fear oil splatter as much as I fear tomato sauce splatter. Tomato sauce splatter is what
Yeah,
ruins
that's
clothing.
true.
Yeah.
Tomato sauce splatter is a reason to cook
Grease
naked.
splatters.
But I do have-
Or
Hannah's
maybe use an
thing.
apron.
I do have like a what is it called actually? I don't know the name for it, but it's like it goes over my skillet and it's like a fine mesh. It's like a colander.
It's a splatter screen.
What is it?
Yeah, I know what you're talking
Okay,
about.
yeah.
It's a splatter screen.
Yeah. So it's made of metal and it just kind of pops over. Like that helps with splatter. I'm not usually I don't use it very much. I basically use it for bacon.
Basically.
I use it anytime I'm doing something oily in my
Yeah.
cast iron
Yeah.
because that will splatter
Like the
like
Dickens.
hell.
Mm-hmm.
And my cast iron is kind of like almost
Oh.
square, so none of my circular lids will fit it
Oh.
properly.
Did we
So
use,
if I don't use the screen, it will always make a
Interesting.
mess.
before we get like too ahead, did we actually establish that we're also going again?
Yes.
We talked about going it last week.
I mentioned
is a
that there was a
rerun.
rerun.
Yes.
And that Dio was coming in.
Yes.
So a couple things that we learned last week. The croquet, these little
Oh, they're so good.
pucks of deep fried mashed potato are amazing.
Yeah. We like the dumplings.
Absolutely glorious.
Little dumply doos. I think the Korean is mandu.
Yeah, the mandu.
Mandu
The mandu
is
were
pretty good.
really good. I enjoyed
Yeah.
those.
The takoyaki is not bad. Considering it's all you can eat takoyaki, I was like, sure, why not?
Yeah, it wasn't like, it wasn't disappointing. It was just
Yeah.
right.
I was adequately whelmed.
It was just right.
Mm-hmm. But I also
I
like
was adequately whelmed.
we have like this kind of go-to Korean barbecue place. There are like decent ones in Calgary, but we have one that we go to. I'm not going to give away the secret. Not because they're not a sponsor.
can't give
but
away the
because
secrets.
I want it for myself.
Every time we've gone there, we've had no trouble getting a table, and we kind of want to keep it that way.
Besides, they don't need any help with business. I don't think I've ever seen that place be empty. Because we went, we recorded last Sunday and we went after, and then they opened right at 11, and we got there 11:15 maybe, and they were already filled with table. There was already a good amount of business in there. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But yeah.
I'm not worried about them. They're going to be a staple of the KBBQ scene in Calgary for a long, long time.
Right? I love my lettuce wraps of the pork. And you guys know that I like to get that meat fresh off the grill, get it in my, dip in the sauce, put it straight into my mouth.
Honestly, I just love making the little lettuce wrap tacos. You get your big old leaf of romaine. You put some rice in there.
I like the seaweed.
Get some of that sauce on it, some kimchi.
Radish kimchi,
Get whatever fresh meat off of the grill that you want.
Yeah.
And I have to say, this place has the best kimchi. So good.
It has real good kimchi.
So good.
And I'm going to, instead of going for the rice,
just kimchi.
I'm going to get bibimbap all the time, because then I have extra extra stuff to put in.
Yeah, that's true. The bibimbap was really good when I tried it last time,
fair.
so I think I'll do that too.
It is. The only thing that it's missing is an egg. It should have had an egg in it, but it's all you can eat, baby bibimbap portion.
Yeah.
So
but that's just
I understand.
Right. That's just right. I wouldn't want a whole actual stone bowl hot bibimbap.
Yes.
To go along with KBBQ. That'd be too much.
I would because it's a baby bibimbap. Maybe a full egg is too much, but maybe I could have a quail egg, perhaps.
Have you? Oh no, this is super off
bad.
topic, so I'm just gonna TLDR this. But someone made a TikTok meme where they froze eggs, and then while they were frozen, they used a knife to cut them into crosswise sections, and then they deep fry those little tiny sections, and they basically got little mini eggs out of it. This would probably be a really good place for that, except for the fact that frozen eggs are really gross in texture. Once you've frozen an egg, the texture goes really wonky. But
I could imagine.
Yeah, I've never heard of that before. I feel like if you wanted to do something like that, if you wanted to deep fry an egg, but you wanted mini eggs, just use quail eggs.
Yeah,
quail eggs are great.
Use quail eggs.
If you can get them.
Soft boil them to begin with, then bread them and do the deep fry. Deep fry them until they're nice and golden on the outside, hard boiled on the inside, and then just pop them one after the other. It's so good.
That's an idea.
I say they're so good. I've never had quail eggs in my life. I've seen them at the grocery store, and I've been like, I
don't see why you don't.
do.
Quail eggs will keep in the fridge like regular eggs do. You could just buy some.
It's probably because quail eggs are not that cheap, and you're getting less product.
But they are a delicacy.
So it's really a matter of, need or desire over economics.
I think for me, it's just that I can't really imagine anything that I would specifically want quail eggs for.
It's the economics episode.
if to be quite frank, most of the time that I'm making eggs, I'm doing just some eggs over easy, scrambled eggs, or I'm using them in a baking thing, something like that. Very rarely am I making hard-boiled eggs for a salad or something, or where the egg and its size is the important thing, the thing that I want. Usually it's just that, I need a whole ass egg. On top of that, can you imagine? Honestly, I find peeling hard-boiled or soft-boiled eggs really, really tedious. And the most frustrating thing ever is when a piece of the egg comes off the shell. Whenever that happens, it ruins my day. I'm like, this
whole
egg,
day is ruined.
This egg is disrespecting you.
Angelo had days where he's had the best day of his life. You can't even imagine how much he enjoyed it. And at the end of the day, he went home and he was like, I'm going to have myself a soft or hard-boiled egg. And then a piece of the egg came off with the shell.
And the entire day was
immediately just the worst.
The entire
worst.
day, scrapped, throw it all out, do it again.
Cried himself to sleep that day.
Yep.
Exactly. So imagine doing that, but now for every large chicken egg, you need to peel like 6 of these little quail eggs. I could not do it.
But yeah, you should
I
do.
feel like-
you have a sous vide, right? I have a sous vide.
I do
don't.
not.
You don't?
I wanna
You should
get
get one because you can sous vide those like jammy
Oh,
eggs.
onsen eggs?
onsen eggs.
Yeah,
Yes,
you could do that.
You can make those easy
You could do
in sous
that.
vide.
I have been eyeing up sous vide sticks for like a while now, but I've never committed to getting one.
Wait, neither of you have one?
No.
My
No.
God.
My most recent culinary purchase was like a carbon steel wok that I'm leaving to the side because I need like to go outside and actually season it properly, like on the barbecue, not in an oven. Because nobody wants seasoning fumes in the house. That's just really bad.
Yeah, it's very unpleasant.
I would not recommend, but it does need like a good, 3 to 4 coatings of good seasoning on it over the barbecue before I start making all of the fried rice in it or something.
You know what I should do?
What?
Back to the topic of quail eggs for 30 seconds. I should get some quail eggs. And for my dog Ilya's birthday, it's either coming up, I believe it's coming up very soon. I could make her a tiny little human
Oh
breakfast.
my god. You could.
You guys,
So
you have
she
to
can
take
have
photos.
Yes.
You have to take
Please
photos and
take
share.
photos.
Two
on your
little
socials.
eggs. I could give her like a couple like half strips of bacon.
Yeah. Make sure you cut
And I
them
could
like
just
length,
Cut them
cut them down
lengthwise
lengthwise
so that they
to
become
make
mini
sure it
bacon.
has that. Yeah, so it has that right look as
Exactly.
Exactly.
well. Really finely
Exactly. I
grated
think that would
potato,
be-
maybe to get some hash brown action.
Like tiny hash brown.
Ooh.
Yeah.
She likes potatoes.
Or tiny toast.
does.
Could you do tiny like toast croutons or something?
I think so. I think so.
Well, you could just
I
get
think that
Melba
would be
toast, honestly.
Or you could do that.
the most hilarious and adorable birthday gift I could do for this dog.
You should do
Do it.
And then again,
Oh.
you have to
I
share
should
on your
do it.
socials. You have to share pictures on your stream. You have to share on, I don't know, whatever else you use, Twitter. There you go.
As a small word of warning,
Yes.
Quail eggs are quite high in cholesterol, so maybe keep it to like 1 egg for her.
I mean, she might be a tiny dog, but it's not like I'm going to give her eggs.
I was gonna
every
say
day
it's like we're
afterwards.
going for K barbecue. You want to talk about cholesterol?
No, not really. I don't know. Like
Exactly.
Ilya's been ill recently. I want to be careful about doing something that.
Actually, she's doing really well right now.
Oh, good.
After we got her bad teeth taken out, she has been living.
Oh, good.
Good.
So I guess it was
she-
a dental problem.
It was definitely, she was having some dental problems. Her bad teeth were definitely affecting her.
Aw.
And so she is a very happy dog.
I'm glad.
With a little bit more of a gummy smile now.
No
Poor
more
baby.
bad teeth for good dog.
Exactly.
I like.
I feel like you say that you want to season your wok on the barbecue.
Yeah.
I need to get more gas for my barbecue. I need to get more propane. Last
And propane
weekend,
accessories.
I was like, oh, we've got these chicken breasts. Let's do them up on the grill. And I go out to the grill to like get it started, get it rolling, and I turn it on, and it's just like the littlest, weakest flame I've ever seen, and not even all the
Maybe
burners would
flame.
actually light up. And I was like, oh, I understand. I am out of the propane.
Mm-hmm.
I am scrub pain.
Hank Hill would be
Sucks.
very disappointed.
Very disappointed.
He would
He'd
be.
probably be disappointed in me because I have a natural gas hookup to my barbecue instead, and I know that he has the thing against natural gas barbecues.
Is that actually a thing?
Something like that. In his
Yeah.
opinion, propane it burns hotter, more stable. It gets a much better sear on your barbecue than natural gas ever would. Or
So
some-
you taste the meat, not the heat.
Anyway, it works perfectly fine for my purposes, and it means that I never have to go and refill a propane tank. It's nice.
Yeah. If that were really an option
makes sense
for
to me.
us, I would do that 100% of the time.
Yeah. I just want a gas grill, but I'm actually pretty happy with sort of my stovetop right now, but I still miss a gas stovetop.
You know what I really want to do? Like, now that a little while ago I got Dio one of those little gas burners, portable little gas top
the
stove
camp
burners.
stoves.
And
but also a suitable hot
we got
pot
it
plate.
we got it specifically for hot pot.
Yes.
But I mean, we should use it for camping. I feel like.
Yeah, it is called a camping stove for a reason, but it's not great for like a wok, for example, because it doesn't
I
get
would go
hot
out with the
enough.
cast iron.
It's very much
I would
like
go out with the
skillet.
cast iron because that would keep the keep the heat in it.
No. And you can
Honestly,
also
for
go through a
walks.
lot of canisters that way, which kind of sucks.
For walks and such, usually you want an incredibly, I should say, depending on what you're cooking. If you're
Yes.
making like a really nice stir fry and you want what is it called, wok hei?
Yes.
You got to get like 8,000 or 12,000 BTUs of heat. You need a jet engine under your wok.
Let's take a second
Yes.
to talk about wok hei. What is wok hei?
Tell me.
A lot of people don't know
Tell me.
what it is, but in general, it is a flavor that comes out when food, most likely Chinese food, is cooked in a wok on a proper heat source. And through the consistent application of stirring with the heat source, which is a high flame, you kind of get a unique, I can't even say that it's like a flavor, but it is like how would you describe it? Like almost a unique element to the overall flavor of your food. So something like fried rice, for example, that I'm sure just about everybody's had, when it's cooked properly in a wok versus a skillet at home, it has a unique flavor profile that is added over it on top because of the high heat and the constant stirring and tossing of the rice and the other ingredients. It is unique. Look it up.
Everything that I know about wok hei, I got from what is the YouTube channel? French Guy Cooking, Alex.
Oh,
And
yeah. Alex is pretty good about
I
stuff like
love
that.
his channel.
He has a good channel.
He went into a deep dive about it, I think 2 years ago, on his stir fry series of videos. And I know what wok hei is. I don't think I've ever had it. I don't think I've ever had any food that has that flavor, because I don't think I've ever had any food cooked on those jet engine of a stovetop burner. You know?
If you had like fried rice in a Chinese restaurant versus fried rice from a food court, for example, then you would have had it. That's almost generally true. I can't imagine a Chinese restaurant, like a sit down, not having their rice cooked that way.
Same.
Possibly. But at the same time, it's just like, I haven't had it to a point where I could pick it out and be like, yes, that is it.
I can. I don't know
That
what it is, but I can
is wok
definitely
hei.
I can imagine
It's a-
flavors essentially, and I can imagine what wok
Yeah.
hei is because I know that
Yeah.
taste well.
Yeah, but like you and I also grew up with it.
And I grew up in
So-
restaurants, period. And my parents' friends, some of them at least, were like restaurateurs of Chinese restaurants. I ate well as a child.
Ah, yes.
And that's the thing.
Ah, yes.
For me, while I was growing up, restaurants were maybe like a once every 2 month sort of thing, maybe even less frequent than that. And as far as Chinese restaurants go, almost never. From the point where I was like a child up until like 13 or 14, it was maybe like 7 or 8 times total where the family would have gone out of our way for Chinese food. So it's just like, yeah, I don't have the background to like compare against.
No, that's fair.
Yeah.
And you know, it's not too difficult to just order takeout from a Chinese restaurant either.
Oh, I've had the takeout, but I'm just not sure if it had the wok hei or not. There was nothing particularly special about what I've had so far.
I mean, a simple way of comparing would be you can make fried rice at home and then order takeout and see if you can do a taste test.
At that point, though, I don't think that's a fair test.
Because you're not very confident in how you make your fried rice.
Not only that, you would need their ingredients. You would need to do the one-to-one comparison with the methodology, as close as possible, the ingredient list as close as possible,
Maybe,
so that you can isolate it down to their wok and their burner versus my electric stove and whatever pan I have on hand.
maybe. I don't think fried rice as a recipe is as rigid as some people believe. Other than the rice.
Oh, it's
part.
not. And quite frankly, French guy cooking Alex also had a fried rice series, which basically boiled down to the same thing. The only thing required for fried rice is rice and usually frying.
Yes. Everything else, it's pretty much, I would say, rice, oil, and egg are your most basic, and then you would want to add on top of that, but those three things, and then like seasoning.
Yeah.
That's pretty
The
much
consensus was whatever vegetables were in season that you felt like throwing in there. And that sounds pretty good.
it is pretty good.
Not gonna lie.
And what else is going to be good is us going for Korean barbecue right after this episode, which is now.
Imminently.
The end of the episode, but the beginning of May. God damn it.
Yep.
All right.
Exit stage left.
Catch you next time. Thanks for listening.
Good night.
Bye.